Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Halifax 57 Rescue Show number 4. And each time we do a fourth show in our series of shows, we're going to give you the latest Halifax rebuild reports from both of our rebuild shops in Alberta and Ontario. And standing by with me today is my main man, Scott Knox, and his Knox Tech team at the Arnprior Airport in Ontario. So, Scott, welcome back, buddy. And I know you've been gone and you've been super busy with family and the airframe and everything, but it's good to see you again.
Yeah. How you doing? Just waiting for the compressor to, there we are. We're actually getting some work done over here. Yeah, you're right. We took a bit of a break over Christmas, New Year's, and things were slow. I came in a couple of times and putzed around on my own, but we're ramping back up again. So today we've got 2 guys in the shop helping out. Last week we had 4 helping out, and we were starting to who's got the hammer, who's got this, who's got that, who's got this drill, who's got that drill. So it's getting tough to find table space and get the tools sorted out, but we're persevering and we're having fun, right, guys? Are we having fun? We're having fun, gentlemen. Sure. Resounding, yes.
Oh yeah. It didn't sound like they were singing in unison, Scott. So you better lay off and put that whip down.
Yeah,
okay.
Hey, geez, or buy more beer or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
and
that's
I apologize. Right. I got these 2 streaks coming down over my head. Sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. It's the way the lighting is in here, but
so no, yeah. That's okay. I did like My Favorite Martian when I was a kid as a show. So Ray Walston, you just sit there, and when it's your turn, you can give us a report. Now, here's what we're going to do, Scott, is I have set up some very good whirlwind videos of the propellers, engines, cowl gill rings, special parts, the specialty stuff at the Bomber Command Museum in Alberta. I've got that video. So I'm going to show that to the folks now, showing the progress out there in Alberta. And you've got a bunch of special videos showing what the guys have been doing there. So we've got a full program of the rebuild shops on both sides of the country. So let's get rolling now, and you'll see my videos of everything going on in Alberta for the Halifax rebuild. We're here at the rebuild shop in Nanton, Alberta today, and I wanted to show you all the progress that's been going on. And with me today is Bob. He's one of the Halifax and Hercules rebuild team, and he's going to give you the demos of the stuff we're going to show you. And so you can see there's the beautiful prop, our first Halifax prop. We'll get to that in a minute. But Bob, let's show them the cowl gill ring. We've got a partial that came out of a scrapyard, and we're going to show you A, how it fits on there, and B, we're going to show you the beautiful restoration job we've done. You can see that's only like about a quarter of the giant ring that goes around the engine. There's the cowl gills. It's operated by chain. And so we've reconstructed that. We've prototyped it. So we've made the progress we wanted to make. And why would we put that cowl gill ring on there first? Because the cowl gill ring determines where the cowlings fit on. And Bob's coming over. This is Bristol Freighter cargo airplane cowling. And guess what, folks? It's almost identical to the Halifax cowlings. So we're going to be able to use that to finally cowl our number 2 Hercules. And remember, we've got 10 Hercules engines to make 4 runners. And Bob, so I'm going to take a shot here of the 3-bladed propeller that we've assembled. And then what we'll do is we'll show You can see it's 13-foot diameter prop. It's the same size as the Lank, but it turns opposite. Now, Bob, let's go over and show them the 3 brand new blades that we're going to assemble next. And there you are, folks, brand new blades that fit the Halifax hub. And so we'll be able to make a second prop. And remember, we've still got another 8 propeller blades in England that we'll bring over to Canada in the coming future. Coming over from the prop, Bob is going to show you the brand new windows for the Halifax turret, and they are being made by our friends Selkirk College. They have a plastics technology division, and Bob, show them where that 80-year-old window goes on the turret. And it will be up on top, just like that. So all of the windows for the turret, which is a very specialized production feature, will be done by Selkirk College. So thanks to the lads in Castlegar. So we're coming into the woodworking shop, and Bob and Hugh and I are working on the cowl gill ring. And folks, there you have it. That's the cowl gill ring that sat in the Cheltenham scrapyards for years. And if you'll look real close, if you see here and there, all the rust holes and everything from sitting for 60, 70 years in the scrapyard. There's the brand new chain for the cowl gill ring. All the extra parts are there. But Bob, show them the brand new ring that we had made. And this is thanks to Tougher Metal Services in Calgary. And they made us exact duplicate cowl gill rings, just like the beat up old one we've got here. And as you can see, if we come in close, Bob and Hugh and I have cut the brand new cowl gill actuator holes for the entire cowl gill. And remember, the cowl gill ring is critical to the cowlings of the entire engine. So this is what we have to do. This is prototyping, and we're going to do the best we can. Thanks a lot, folks, and we'll see you real soon. Well, folks, there you have it from the western side of the Halifax rebuild. And now I'll hand it off to Scott Knox and the Knox Tech team in Arnprior. And Scott, let her rip. Tell us all the stuff you've been doing, and it's your turn to show us Halifax progress.
Right on, right on. Well, you're on the left coast. We're on the east coast here. Well, central, I suppose. And at our central shop, we've been progressing the trailing edge. We've built all the trailing edge ribs, and now we're starting to put the stringers that go across, that join all the ribs together. It's a slow, very slow process. But thankfully, one of our supporters bought us a tight space angle drill head so we can get right into tight corners. I was having a difficulty gang drilling some of the holes for the stringers, but that's coming along. We're also working on the form blocks for all the flap ribs. There's probably about 20 or so ribs, and each rib is made out of 3 parts. So there's 60 different parts for each flap, plus other components. And we're making the form blocks for those parts, and we're having some difficulty. There's some very tight radiuses on some of those parts. So when we form the parts, they're all puckered up, if you will. And so we have to make allowances in the form block so that when you form the part over, it's the right shape. So that's moving along.
Can I interject for a second, Scott? Now, just explain to me, we found underwater in the Baltic Sea a bunch of flap sections, and we brought them to you at Arnprior's shop. Have they been of any use at all in terms of the technology of making new flaps?
Yeah, well, this is one of the well, these were the three best examples we could find of the different components required for one flap rib. So these are forming the master that we're using to copy and make the form blocks to copy the other parts. So these are what we're going by. Now we have some drawings, but they're very limited, frankly. So it's nice to have the real thing that we can use to copy.
So, folks, what Scott is pointing out is this is a rib that sat under the sand for over 80 years in the Baltic Sea. And our guys, the divers, River Thames, and the divers, SC, they saved as much of the flaps as they could. And now you know the benefits. So, Scott, I just wanted to throw that in, that every part we find has a benefit to the total rebuild.
Yeah, well, yeah, some do. I mean, out of all the parts, of all the flap parts that you recovered, those three were really the best ones. The rest are just going to be kept in as backups, I guess you could say, because they still have information in them. What I found most interesting, though, was as we were looking at those parts, we actually found battle damage. So we actually found probably half a dozen shell holes, 20 millimeter cannon. And so we found out that this aircraft had been attacked from the rear. It was sidelined only for a few days and then put back into service. And what's funny is that the aircraft was put back into service. It still had holes in it. So the flaps still had visible holes. They hadn't been really repaired in any way, shape, or form. Apparently there was some fuel tank damage. That was obviously repaired. But the flaps hadn't been repaired. That just illustrates how pressed they were to get aircraft back on operations. Yeah. So,
well, that's great. And so the videos that you have passed on for our production today and show 4, can you give me the basic rundown? Is there any content sequence that you did, or you just hovered around and did your video?
Well, I provided some still shots of some of the. We're doing multiple tasks all at the same time, so we're working on the trailing edge ribs. We were working on putting the ribs in place, putting the stringers in place. So I've got some different photos there showing those different aspects. We're working on the, as I spoke of earlier, the flap components themselves. So there's a lot of different things, because now we've got 3 or 4 guys in the shop. We can get different things happening at the same time. So my job now is kind of getting things ready for the guys to work on. And then I'm doing the fiddly stuff, getting the stringers in place and putting the trailing edge ribs in place. And then the guys are helping me with some riveting and things like that when I'm working on that. So it's about managing tasks. We got a multitude of things going on at the same time, because I don't want the guys to come here and then sit around with nothing to do. So I need to keep them fed and watered, as it were, and keep them productive and not wasting their time.
Sure. Well, give my compliments to the guys there. And now let's just go a little bit off site from the rebuild shop at Arnprior. Where are those 2 giant wings for the Halifax that we got from England? Where are they stored now in relationship to you at the shop?
Right. So there's 2 two of the hangar owners here at Arnprior were gracious enough to offer some space, because it's actually space is at a premium here. But there's some supporters on the field, and they've offered us some space, a very reasonable priced space. We did have to move the wings a couple of times. It's a long story, but when they first arrived, we put them in one hangar, hoping that they would be shipped out to your location. That didn't happen. So we had to put the at least one wing in one hangar, and then had to shift that wing because he had other aircraft coming in. So to shift that wing to another hangar. So as I say, they're warm and cozy in 2 different hangars right now. They're accessible if we need to get to them. But we're not going to be working on those for quite some time. And probably one of them will be sent out to your location.
That's right. So what I've got planned, Scott, is when the engine runs for the Lank and all of the Hercules and everything that we do at Bomber Command Museum, when that starts in the month of May, I would like one of the wings to come out to Nanton just to show folks the size of the wing and the fact that we have them and they're going to be incorporated into the rebuild. We want, and you can obviously have one there, and that might be the first one that you would start on if and when the wings will be done in the near future. But yes, that one wing, safe, secure at your location, will come to Nanton, Alberta, probably in the month of April, if I can swing it. So that's an add-on.
Yeah, no, we've been very, very lucky. There's been some gracious folks. There's a lot of supporters on the field. They know what we're doing. They stop by. They keep an eye on what we're up to. They want to keep updated, and they'll it's one of those things where if there's anything I can do to help, well, yeah, there is. Can we put a wing in your hangar? Well, I don't know about that. But, they have been. And they've been brilliant. You got to be careful. When you offer something, you got to step up if somebody says yes.
Sure. Now, I guess obviously the videos speak for themselves coming from the rebuild shop in Arnprior. What I wanted to tell you is this is news. It might as well go on our rebuild shop program number 4 is I have bought the mid-upper turret for the Halifax in Atlanta, Georgia. The deal is done. It's being crated as we speak. It's going to be shipped from Atlanta, Georgia, up to Canada, and we think it might come to the rebuild shop at Arnprior, but we have a plan B. It could come straight out to Nanton. The other big news is Halifax 57 Rescue has purchased in England a 20-foot shipping container. And Karl is going over first week in February to England, and he's going to move every single part of the Halifax that we've got in store in the British Isles. It's all coming to the 20-foot container. And later on in the spring of this year, we will ship that 20-foot container over to the port of Montreal. And then you and I can go pick up that 20-foot container, take it to Arnprior, and then you and I this will be a wonderful argument between the two of us. We will squabble over what is going to Nanton and what is staying in Arnprior. But right. the luxury will be we've got the 20-foot container. We pay our men it could be anybody. We pay our guys. They get paid in beer. And Nanton has the same wage scale and the same bonus points is called beer. So it's the elixir of Warbird rebuilds.
Yeah, beer and the satisfaction that you know that you're helping out a good cause.
That's right. Yeah. And that's always a good thing to tell the folks is, do you realize how rare this airplane is? And this is the only Halifax bomber at this time being rebuilt in the entire world.
Still a bit more work to do on the jig, but we're getting to the point now where we can start to assemble this rib. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. Turned out all right. And then we'll add it with the rest of them.
So it really is something to express that to people. And obviously you don't get as many visitors to the rebuild shop as we do at the Bomber Command Museum of Canada. But I'm telling you, it's 2 or 3 to 1. Anybody that comes into our museum, they're talking Halifax my uncle, my
Right.
grandpa, my
Right.
dad. They were on Halifaxes, and maybe they went to Lancs later in the war, but that combat experience is on the Halifax. So it's quite rewarding to have these people come and say, wow. And of course, they're looking at, in Nanton, they're looking at engines, props, and all of the specialty items. Your people get an eyeful when they come in to see the airframe.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and we're not, obviously we're not open to the public here, but we do get visitors fairly often. Sometimes there's an open house here at the field, and it does draw a lot of interest, and and which sometimes generates some support. So, you know, they'll come by and they'll visit and they'll say, "Hey, how can I support you?" And then I point them in the direction of the fundraiser page.
Sure. Okay. And Scott, another thing I want to do as we move forward is I would like to have those firewalls and motor mounts. It's not complete motor mounts. That are in store with you. I would like to have those sandblasted and clean in the springtime, and I would bring them out unless you need them immediately. I would bring them out to Nanton, and that would be the beginnings of working backwards on our Hercules towards the main spar, all the structures that could go into the engines.
Right, right.
So let's work on that as we move forward. And I guess that's pretty well it from my end today. And appreciate your input. Was there anything else you wanted to say before I sign off to the folks?
No, we're making progress. It's measured, but it's heading in the right direction. And yeah, we'll just keep plugging away. That's all we can do, you know. Press on regardless.
Yeah, that's right. And okay, so folks, here we are. We're doing our best. We're making that heavy bomber, that symbol of freedom, and it's for our veterans. It's for all of you folks that understand what the Halifax bomber means to our freedom. And if you like this project, if you see any worthiness in this project, we need your support. We need your donations. We need you to share, get that out there to everybody. It's a symbol of freedom. We're going to do it, and we're going to ask for your support. You see the sites to go to show that support, and we just hope that, yes, you will support us. So thanks for watching. Scott, thanks again, man. And let's stay in touch. I'll come and see you soon, and we'll keep rolling. We leave no Halifax behind. Thanks.